Because as you said, I mean, it's one thing to philosophically talk about these things, but it's another to actually put them into action. And we need tools like this journal, like even the self-pause app that you talked about, which we had a great conversation. And you know, Jaden and Joe were both talking about how incredible just even affirmations, right, completely change their lives. So if we really start to choose these habits and we start to become aware what habits are stemming from our ego, what habits are stemming from our soul, and we can start to understand them at that deeper level, then we can start to understand ourselves and evolve throughout our lifetime and really experience the greatest version of the grandest vision of who we are at every level of self, soul and human alike. And when we can do that, I mean, that's limitless potential in action.
Yes. And I feel like that's so much of what our guests were talking about too,
right,
around this. I mean, even Rankina, who has experienced some of the most unpleasant situations that our world has to offer. Mm-hmm. She still holds out this amazing, her mission and her hope and her drive toward her mission. It shows that even when something outside of self, when roles and identities that are external kind of get pulled out from underneath of you, when you know what home base is, when you know what your mission or your purpose is, you still have the ability to go back to that and find that grandest vision of self. Like nobody and nothing is going to determine my human potential. I determine my human potential. And therefore, I can do that for myself, and I can show you that it's possible if you desire to do the same thing. And so then we become this group that starts to just connect at that level and help each other and lift each other up. And I think she was such a beautiful example of that in all the things that she's done in her life for women, for just cultures and the connection between cultures and helping to understand where others may have just backed out and said, no, this is too much for me. If her ego had taken over, she would not have been able to do the things that she did. And so she was able to balance it in that way. And I feel very much the same with Tracy, where she stepped in and in a very focused and, having been on the receiving end of that myself, I know how passionate people are about the religions or the faiths that they hold. And it's a beautiful gift to see someone so passionate about their belief system. But when that passion turns into a weapon, just like anything else, and we start to crucify others who don't have that same belief, then it may represent a misalignment in ego, and it can harm those outside of your belief system. And Tracy did a great job of standing tall in a space where that could happen, and from description did happen in many accounts, and said there's more than one way, and we can all learn things from each other. And ego doesn't need to play a part in this. Information, insight, and soul connection, that's the key across all of this. So let's focus on the commonality there, instead of the identity that goes along with the ego. And I found that fascinating. I was so grateful for her message.
Definitely. And Greg talked deeply about how important action is. Yeah. He's a great embodiment of having vision and action, ambition, drive, and being willing to step between both to pull back, to have the vision, take that higher level 30,000 foot view and see, okay, what's this landscape? What can we do? And then pull back down into the human self and say, okay, well, this is what I need to do to actually get there. And you could see his incredible journey flowing through that at different levels. One, even from him saying the different levels of ego, of being too involved in the human ego, and then really focusing on the soul and through personal transformation. And then now as a father, kind of being able to blend the two, recognizing that, new life can transform all perspectives. And isn't that a reality? I mean, birth is such an incredible aspect, and we have rebirths on literally every day. Yeah. Right? I mean, that's what, wake up every morning, morning and night. That's a great cycle of rebirth. So, we're experiencing that in ourselves every single day. And when we take habits that are no longer who we are, and we apply habits that are beneficial to who we are, that is a birth in and of itself too.
Yes.